Today I have a very important message for you, one which will probably be removed sometime during this broadcast. I need you to share it fast, to like, to subscribe, so that others can get the message before it's removed. We are experiencing the biggest revolution in history. A revolution that's not going to be televised. A revolution where the people aren't fighting to replace a government or a regime, but where the people are fighting to take control of their own data, to govern themselves. A revolution that is taking away the biggest weapon that governments have, the financial system. There are no guns, there'll be no violence, there'll be no tear gas. This is a silent revolution, and one that governments can't stop. You see, in this revolution, anyone that has an internet connection can be a leader. Anyone can start a movement bigger than a political party. And anyone that has an internet connection can be their own bank or financial services provider. We didn't want this revolution. We didn't want to take control. But when we elected leaders, they abused their power to protect their personal interests. And they protected Wall Streets and the lobbyists that put them into power. And every mistake that they made was covered by printing more and more US dollars, by getting the people drunk on US dollar stimulus. You know why? Because their view was, for as long as we're drunk on US dollars, we're not going to revolt. But the people have spoken. They've spoken against the government and their irresponsible behavior by exiting the devaluing US dollars and other currencies and opting for a new digital currency that has a predetermined inflation, one that is not stored on any place that any government can have access to, and one where no government has any say or control over. This was the first part of the revolution, and it's been underway since the launch of Bitcoin. And as governments continue to let their irresponsible policies spiral out of control, more and more people are joining the revolution. And it's not only the ordinary people. Some of the very institutions that funded the governments, that funded the lobbyists to help the governments, are now taking some bets and putting some money on the other side. And this week, a small bunch of revolutionaries gathered on a public, transparent site called Reddit and silently fought back against the governments and the institutions that they protect. They did nothing wrong. In fact, all they did was exactly what Wall Street do every single day in an elusive way and behind closed doors. All they did was use public information on short positions on GameStop to devise a strategy and share it with their peers. All they did was take short positions. All they did was look at the short positions and buy GameStop, a brand and share that they love. And as they did this, more and more people joined in, starting a network effect that crippled Wall Street and even made one fund lose over $3 billion. And as they did this, Wall Street became petrified and quickly closed all their short positions in all the stocks that they shorted, AMC, Blockbuster, GameStop, and many, many others, sending them flying. You see, when this happened, Wall Street ran to the regulators and asked them to fight against the very behavior they wanted implemented. Because when a fund or institution wants to sell 130% of a company's stock without owning it, that's apparently okay. But when a private investigator wants to buy it, apparently we need more regulation. And the regulators, they're panicking. And they're looking to implement more rules to take away more of our financial freedom. But we won't be stopped. We're going to continue to trade out of their manipulated currencies into one that they can't touch. And in their panic, the regulators are going to carry on fighting us. And they're going to make sure that people like us don't get too much power in the name of protecting investors. And the biggest companies, terrified by the regulators, will limit what we can do with our own money. They'll limit us buying and selling on places like Robinhood. And in fact, today, Robinhood eliminated the trading of GameStop, Blockbuster, AMC, and a whole lot of other stocks. We don't need you because we have our own financial system and it's working. We're trading out of your devaluing US dollar into our own appreciating currency, and it's called Bitcoin. We have our own supercomputers. They're called Ethereum, Cardano, Elrond, and DOT, and they've got servers that you can't find and you can't control. And we have our own trading platforms that work, that don't limit our order sizes, and that let anyone buy and sell whatever they want. And through sophisticated mirroring platforms, we can create synthetic assets that mirror your Wall Street assets and trade them however we like. So you wonder, why do we keep buying these gems? Well, it's because we're fed up. We're fed up with your policies. We're fed up with your corruption. We're taking back the power into our own hands. You've pushed us too far. And whereas before our platform and infrastructures were new and untested, today they're functioning. They're fully functional and they're working and ready for everyone to move across. So don't be surprised that the decentralized blockchains are gaining momentum and those that aren't decentralized, like EOS, are not. You shouldn't be surprised that file storage protocols like Arweave that store files forever and that governments can't touch are gaining traction, and that Amazon Web Services and everyone else is losing. You shouldn't be surprised that platforms like Uniswap and SushiSwap that allow people to trade without any limitation are going to the moon, and that platforms that allow for synthetic assets from Wall Street to be traded are also flying high. Don't be surprised, because the people have spoken. Join the revolution today. And one way you can do this is by watching Crypto Banter every single day.
Crypto Banter is the world's first interactive social cast for the crypto community. Get the latest news, views, interviews, and live conversations with crypto enthusiasts from around the world. This is where you call in, you make the show, and you bring the banter. That's CryptoBanter.com, where you talk crypto.